Good morning. Welcome to our YouTube channel Bharat Bharati Public School Godda. This is Sandeep sir introducing you to the topic of history for the class 9, and the topic, as you can see here, is forest, society and colonialism. Now in this chapter we will be dealing with certain topics. So let me first of all, this is here, the middle part is the introductory part, and here we are going to study about, in this chapter we will be studying about, first of all, what is deforestation. Second, why deforestation increased sharply during the British period. Next, what was its impact on forest dwellers or the people living in forests such as tribals. And finally, the revolts, two revolts have been discussed here. One is the Bastar revolt and second is Java revolt, which is now in Indonesia. Java is an island in Indonesia. Once upon a time it was been a separate colony of the Dutch. We will be discussing about all these things. But before going into that one, I am just trying to explain you what is deforestation. And as you know, deforestation is not new. Deforestation, as we know, is the cutting of the forest on a large scale. And why is cutting of the forest very important? Despite of the fact, these days we are very much aware of the fact that we need not or we should not cut the forest. A lot of legislations and enactments have been made talking about the restriction or ban on cutting of the forest so freely, yet we have to cut the forest. Why so? To start with, forest means trees, as we know, and trees being the primary producers, they are supporting our lives or the lives of living organisms in a variety of ways. Even if we are very sensitive, we are very intelligent, we are very knowledgeable that we should not cut the trees, and that we are in these days, the modern present generation. The people of your generation are particularly very much aware of the fact about the harmful effect of deforestation. But can you say with guarantee and certainty, cutting of the forest can 100% be stopped? Answer, no. The matter is very simple. Because we are dependent on forest for a lot of compulsory requirements of our day-to-day life, we have to cut them. And it is not at all a new phenomenon. Everything literally, the wood from the jungles, there are many commercially valuable hardwood trees that are coming from the forest. There are many medicinal plants. Many medicines are being made from them, so we have to. So industry is going into the forest for having many raw materials. A lot of industrial raw materials are coming from the forest. Okay. And we will study, when we go deeper in the chapter, we will study that the forest dwelling communities, whom we call tribals in a simple sense, literally for everything they have been dependent on forest. Even today, we are living in this modern 21st century. Not only 21st century, modern 21st century, where we have a lot of substitutes for our compulsory requirements. But then whenever we talk about the eco-friendly things, somewhere we are coming on to nature. And when we talk about nature, somewhere we have been talking about the trees and forests. They purify air for us. They are the primary source of food for us. They are the in homes for the wild animals, which are in themselves a great resources for us. The plenty of vegetations mean a lot of greenery modifying the climate, and one of the major regions for the good amount of rainfall, which is the primary source of water on this earth. So we cannot overlook the utility of forests in our lives. And if something is so useful for us, we all are concentrating and focusing on that something for having our necessities, we end up in damaging them, cutting them, destroying them, and that is to some extent the deforestation, where the deforestation starts. But that is not the concern here. In this chapter, we will be particularly trying to focus and concentrate on why deforestation increased sharply during the British period. You see the second topic. Why deforestation increased sharply during the British period? They came to India, they colonized India. You have studied in your previous classes. They came to India primarily for the business purpose, for earning profits from India. And in those days, most of the products that they were making it the part of their selling and commerce or business, most of them were the natural products. You are better knowing about all these things, that some of the important commodities that were been in very high and hot demand in olden days or the colonial period were tea, spices, cotton clothes from India. Okay, so more or less, so these are the food grains also. Okay, and most of these things are somewhere the natural products found. Most of them have been found in forests. As I have told, Britishers came to India focusing on one more thing, is to maximize their profit. They were only been focusing on having profits from India. And in those days, agriculture was the main means of livelihood for the people. And if you want to earn money, means government here, by you I mean government, and what is the source of income for the government? The taxes paid by the people. That is the general source of income for the government. Now today a variety of taxes were being paid by the people thanks to a diversity in the occupation, as well as many other avenues have been created for earning livelihood in different sectors of economy, such as primary, secondary, and tertiary. But in those days, agriculture was the mainstay of life. And for having agriculture, you need the land, and most of the land were under forest covered in those days. You see one data and stats given. In 1600 AD, 1/6 of the land were only under cultivation. To put it simple, if I am trying to make a pie chart, I'm not well versed in mathematics, but 1/6 you see how much? 1/4, roughly like this. This is 1/6. Means only this portion were under cultivation. Means in other words, these entire portions were covered by jungles or forest, mostly covered by jungles and forests. This is what the condition of 1600 AD. And by 1900, almost half of the Indian land were under the cultivation. And how much, what is the total? You would have studied in previous classes, 3.28 million square kilometers is actually the land area of India. Okay. So out of it, in 1600 AD, why 1600 we are emphasizing in this one? Because this particular chapter is talking about the British period, what happened to the Indian jungles and why Indian jungles started getting disappeared, to put it simple, why deforestation is started, intensified under the British period. So before coming of the Britishers, only 1/6 of the Indian land were under cultivation. And by 1900, these are all the natural regions we have been talking about. One very natural region that may come in your mind would have been from 1600 to 1900, quite obvious, sir, the population of the country would have increased. More the population, more the requirement for the food and settlement. These are the basic requirements of life. So we cannot ignore it. So in order to make settlements for the ever-growing population, we need to cut the jungle. These were the natural regions that we even had to cut the jungle. You cannot avoid it, and that is why in the beginning I have told, even if we are very sensitive, even today we are very sensitive, we need the land. And we need the land for two basic things, one for settlement, second for food. And that is why we started clearing the jungles. This is all happened even before the Britishers came, but before the coming up of the Britishers, these things were been happening on a slow pace. Okay? But after the coming of the Britishers, few steps they had taken that ultimately resulted into the intensification of deforestation. What were they? First of all, the belief. And that belief factor is very important. It's a very common English proverb that you do or you become as you think. So every action is first of all taking birth in the form of contemplation. We need to think about that one. If we are thinking positive about something, end up result is the positive outcome. If we're thinking negatively about something, the conclusive result is accordingly negative. So when they came to India, they thought, first of all, you see the thought process. They thought that this forest is a wasteland, land under. So this is, you see, in the name of improvement of land, they ended up in making the policy that is actually the policy supporting the deforestation. First of all, that thinking process I'm talking about, they thought about this land under the forest cover is unprofitable. The land under wilderness is a wasteland, because this land, if cleared, means, to put it simple, if the jungle is cut, you can convert the forest land into agricultural land, and in one single year that we call the agricultural year, you can produce a variety of crops, and that can be the source of revenue for the government. With this thinking, they started cutting jungles on a large scale, and you can see here the data once again. Between 1880 to 1920, 6.7 million hectares of area in India were being cleared for cultivation. Okay, so all these things actually, now you see the increasing graph of deforestation. We were, of course, I confess, and we know that forests were being cut even in the past. It is not at all a new phenomena, but in modern times it has went up to such a serious magnitude that before taking any step of development or progress, or I may say that any economic development project, first of all, we are thinking about the environment related issues. We need to take the clearance from the environment viewpoint. And in order to maintain the quality of environment, we better know that forest or plants play a very important role. However, so the forest started being cut. Second thing, Britishers were, as I have told, they came here primarily for the purpose of profit. So when they came to India, first of all, they have seen that in order to increase the revenue of the government, they needed to practice agriculture, and they had made many agricultural policies in order to control the agriculture of India in standard 8 days. You'd have studied about that Permanent Settlement Act, that Rayatwari system, Mahalwari system, but we are not going into that one. But even before that, whatever the systems you are making in order to control the agriculture is secondary. First thing, you need the land, and the most of the land, as I have tried to explain here, was what? Under the forest cover, so they had cleared the jungle. Second thing, we know industrialization started in England. What is industrialization? Industrialization is the coming up of industries. An industrial revolution first took place there in England. And the first industry to be set up was the cotton textile industry. Means the agro-based industry. Cotton is the raw material coming from agriculture. And in order to grow cotton, certain climatic requirements that we need is, first of all, black soil, which is deficient in England, 210 days frost-free atmosphere or climate, which is not possible in a country like England, which is situated on high altitude and latitude both, and black soil. Okay, so these things are plentifully found in India. India being a tropical country, whatever the climatic requirements are necessary, the geographical conditions are desirable for the cultivation of cotton was present here. But those areas, that black soil area of the Deccan Trap region of India, was also under the forest cover. You see, they had set up an industry to start up their industrialization process, but they don't have the raw materials. So they were dependent on raw material either on America, which was also their colonies, or second on India, which was also their colony. So they came to India, they cut forest, and not only for cotton, a range of commercial crops they had introduced in India. Indians were also practicing agriculture, but then the crop that we were practicing were mostly the edible crops, rice, wheat, etc. But Britishers started producing here in India, through Indians by the way, what were sugar cane, cotton. Wheat also became the example of commercial crop. The basic here I want to throw light on a basic difference between the subsistence agriculture and commercial agriculture. What is subsistence? For example, suppose a farmer, okay, however not connected with this chapter directly, but you must know. For example, a farmer growing wheat good enough only to sustain and survive his family. So the wheat for that farmer is an example of subsistence crop. But if a farmer growing the crop, the same wheat, big farmer, growing the same wheat, but the amount of wheat is, thanks to the modern agriculture practices, it has grown many thousand tons. Now he would be, in the first hand, he would be keeping certain portion of it for the family, and the remaining he would be selling into the market. So anything that is connected for the selling, purchasing, or the purpose of earning profit is commerce or trade or commerce. So say for example, a farmer producing good enough only to sustain and survive his family, that wheat for A is the example of subsistence crop, and for B who has produced it on many a times bigger or larger than that of A. So that wheat for B farmer is an example of commercial crop. And here Britishers wanted the wheat for their industrial workers and cotton for their machines. So they were the food, the cotton from India were the food for the British missionaries, cotton textile machines, and the wheat from India were the food for the workers working in British industries, and both of them were not grown in a good amount because of not suitable agriculture conditions. So these were also the regions that they had introduced commercial agriculture in India. Already you see the land started being cut, 1600, 1/6. After that, Britishers came, they introduced a lot of commercial crops and other formats in agriculture. The more the improvement of agriculture, there are two things are coming here. Agriculture is of course the symbol of progress. We cannot deny it. If we say for example, India is still an agricultural economy. You would have heard it many times. What does it mean? Majority of Indians are still dependent on agriculture. In other words, the prosperity and progress of Indians are directly proportional to the progress of agriculture. Fine. But on the hindsight, the more the agriculture will be improving, the more the deforestation is always there on the card, because you cannot cultivate or practice agriculture in here. So these were the reasons why the deforestation is started. Now next, another thing was we had studied or we have heard that sun never set during the British period. What does it mean? There never happened to be the sunset during the British period. How is this possible, sir? The sun rising and setting is a natural phenomenon, no matter it is Britishers or whosoever they. But then it actually means that in wherever the part, suppose being the student of geography would have been knowing that India, for example, is situated in the eastern hemisphere. England is situated in the western hemisphere. Now, if there is sunrise in India right now, there would have been the night there in America. If there is a night there in America, there is a sunrise, and similarly means vice versa. Now you see what is happening, that India was also the colony of England, America was also the colony of England, South Africa was also the colony of England, means the major part of the globe was the colony of England at one point of time. It means that wherever you go, wherever the sunrises are there, the British Empire was present there. Good. That is so magical. That is so fantastic. Fine. But then this is not easily done. This is not easily possible. Why? With the help of, how is this made possible? This was being made possible with the help of very strong navy. Britishers had a very powerful navy, and in order to maintain the powerful Royal Navy, Britishers had to make the strong, durable boats and ships. Nowadays, it has been, of course, made up with many metals and other substances. But in those days, the boats and ships were being made up of the wood, primarily dependent on wood. And two major variety were, one, the oak, that is a hard, durable tree. Not only hard, but durable also, that can last for long time. For example, the Sundari tree found there in Sundarban Delta, which is long for very hard and very durable. Even if exposed in water for a longer period of time, it will not be decayed. Another thing, the oak tree are found basically on higher latitude, and this is the example of somewhere the coniferous type of forest or montane vegetation. In England, of course, it is found, or it was found, but England is a very small island nation. They started cutting those trees and made their royal boats and etc. Thereby maintained their navy. But after certain point of time, the anxieties started ruling the English think tanks. Why? Because of the disappearance of oak forest. As a result, they had sent the search parties in different parts of the world in order to look for the oak trees. And we know that one in the Himalayan region, we have a oak tree found. Okay, so they came here and they had given the contracts and consignments to cut oak tree and then transport or export them into England. Okay, as a result, in order to make the railway sleepers of railway is what? That you would have been seen the horizontal bar of a plank fitted between two railway tracks in order to fix the railway tracks. Nowadays, it is made up of cement and other materials. But then, in those days, it was been made up of the wood. And that is called sleepers. Okay. So, in order to lay down a railway track of 1 mile, around 17 to 1800 sleepers are required. And we know that when the railways have been expanded in India, introduced and expanded in India by the Britishers as well as in England in other colonies. So more the expansion of railways, both for fuel and sleepers, trees were further been cut. So these were the variety of regions. To sum up, for agriculture, for expansion of agriculture because of introduction of commercial crops, then because of the railways, expansion of railways and requirements of the boats and ships, and plus Britishers were also responsible for the introduction of plantation agriculture in India. And what is plantation agriculture? Plantation is growing of a single crop on a large tract of land. Tract means area, TRACT, tract of land, for purpose of making profit. Example tea, example coffee. These are all the examples of plantation agriculture. So Britishers had introduced the tea and coffee cultivation in India. So once again they had to clear 500, 600 acres and thousands of acres of land in order to convert those forested land, once upon a time the forest areas, into plantations and to grow the plantation crops. So for plantation agriculture, for commercial agriculture, for controlling of agriculture, consideration of forest as wilderness and non-profitable, and to increase the revenue of the colonial government, they had adopted many measures in order to control the forest and clear the forest. So these are the reasons why deforestation increased sharply during the British period. In my next class, I will be discussing about procedures and legislations, what processes they had adopted in order to control the forest of India, and how it has, because once you have been controlling the forest, it will be directly affecting the forest dwelling communities, particularly tribals who are heavily and totally dependent on forest. As a result, they rose to rebellion. Some of the tribes that we will be discussing is one. The Bastar region is there. Bastar is a district in Chhattisgarh where many tribes are living. So one among them were called the Dhurva tribes. That Dhurva revolt we will be studying, that started in the year 1910. And then from here we will be moving on to Indonesia in Java, where we will be discussing about the Java revolt. So you see the chapter, this is what that forest society, wherever the forest societies were there, they were badly and so badly affected by colonial policies that the forest dwelling communities were left up with no option but to revolt. So this is what the subject matter of my, so in my next video, in my next class, I will be extending into the second section. Till then, take good care of yourself. Bye.